Hi, this is Jeremy Kellett, Director of Recruiting here at Oakley Trucking, and I'm your host for this podcast. This is episode 94. On today's podcast, I'll be joined by a couple of guys in the recruiting department, Kent and Dustin. We're going to talk a little bit of recruiting today and what's happening in the world of recruiting truck drivers. So from what, we're going to get into stuff from what these recruits want these days to how many Oakley needs right now and maybe where we need them to live and some of the obstacles to that you got to overcome to lease on with Oakley Trucking, maybe some of that too. But first, before we get started on that, let's get to our Oakley update, and it's sponsored by Aero Truck Sales. Keith Wilson at Aero Truck Sales in Springfield, Missouri is currently offering $1,000 off your first month's payment when you finance with transport funding, or $1,000 off the truck price if you bring your own financing. They're also discounting the cost of an extended warranty by $500. Aero Truck Sales has been a long-time partner with Oakley Trucking, and that's because they specialize in first-time truck buyers. They don't do any leases. They have the best used trucks money can buy because used trucks is all they do. They don't sell any new trucks. And the biggest reason that Aero and Oakley are partners is service after the sale. It is very important to us at Oakley that when we refer you to a company, that they are a good company with good people. They do what they say, and they understand our requirements. So give Keith a call at 573-216-6047 for a good used truck, and tell him you heard about it on the Oakley Podcast. Okay, on Oakley Update today, I just got a couple quick things. I got some information from the safety department, and one of the things that they said with these new Geotabs that we're putting in, the login. So JP wanted to let everybody know to log in to the hours of service of the Geotab. You use your email address and the last four of your social twice. So like 1234, 1234. Your email in front of that. So that here, I wanted to let everybody know that evidently that's a common problem, common question, I should say. And also, the second thing safety said is they now have a video on how to operate the new e-log. So he said they emailed it out to everybody, but be sure and check your email and see if you've got it, but that will help you operate that e-log a little bit better, the new Geotab. Maybe answer some questions for you. The other thing on the Oakley Update, I always like to recognize one of our owner-operators that's been here a long time, and this one this week is Dean Smith out of Longville, Louisiana. He's been with us 15 years this month. He drives a 2013 Freightliner. He's I know he did end dump for a long time, but now he's currently doing a pneumatic tank, and I asked the pneumatic guys about him and what they thought about old Dean, and I'll just tell you what they sent me. He said, this is actually Bradley, I think, used to dispatch him. He said, I've never had any trouble with Dean at all. You give him something to do, and he gets it done the right way. Easygoing and represents Oakley well. About the only way you can make Dean mad is if you don't let him take off to deer hunt. So, well, that'll make you mad. So, all right, that's your Oakley update for this episode. Now let's get into some recruiting, and let's talk recruiting truck drivers at Oakley Trucking, recruiting truck drivers in general. And this day and age with COVID running rampant and all the thing that's changed over the last 2 years, I mean it's changed the recruiting world for truck drivers. I know for sure. They said there's a shortage. 5-10 years ago, there's a shortage of truck drivers, and now I think there's even more of a shortage of truck drivers. Joining me, I got Dustin Eagle and Kent Childers. They're, what did I call you last time? Senior recruiters with Oakley Trucking. And they've been doing it for a long time here at Oakley, and they got some knowledge of this and talk to recruits all the time. So tell me what you guys think is going on in the recruiting world of truck drivers today.
You want to take off? You want me to start?
Whatever you want to do, buddy.
Man, I'm gonna say it's a little tougher than I've been in recruiting now 15 years, and it's about as tough as a stretch as I've seen as far as movement. There's, of course, it's the trucking side of it is extremely good right now, and not a lot of phone calls right now you're getting on guys moving. Period. I've seen it
We've had some slow times, but we ain't had it for this long, have we?
That's
no,
right.
no, we haven't. It's I haven't been doing as long as Kent and Jeremy, but this is the first time I've really seen it like this. And they've always told me, we've been through it before, and we'll come out of it. And I've never seen it, but here we are. It kind of started, when COVID hit back in 2020, and it, you could see it gradually changing, but come about a year later, halfway through 21, it really slowed down. It seemed like everybody was busy. Truck prices have went through the roof.
Finance is getting a little stricter.
Financing companies are stricter, and I think the trucking industry might be in kind of I don't know. You're getting one group of guys that's done it a long time getting out of it, and here comes a new group of guys. And
yeah, I think we had 3 retire yesterday.
Yeah, so I mean we've had a lot retire this year, and I think the trucking industry in a whole is in a turnover right now, in my opinion, a little bit.
We've never seen it this slow when it's come to being able to lease owner operators on. It's just you're not getting the leads that you used to get.
Yeah, and I think that goes with what Kent said. Everybody's busy right now, and when everybody's busy, you're not going to get as many leads and phone calls as you used to do it. So, it's the ones we do get, you've really got to focus on because there ain't much to work with these days.
You think it's going to last all year? What's 2022 looking like?
It's not started out at a good pace, and if you'd asked me this last year, I wouldn't have thought it would have made that whole year, and here we are again. And I was talking to some guys at a truck dealership today, and new trucks are, they're third quarter new trucks as far as getting a truck.
I think you also dealing with, talking about the shortage of drivers a little bit, you're dealing with all the other industries, not just transportation, but just, blue-collar jobs that people are hiring too. I mean, you got that competition you're going against to where guys are doing something else and not getting into trucking like they used to, as many as they used to.
Exactly.
I think it's just not only are we competing against every other trucking company for a truck driver, but we're competing against every other
corporation.
Every other place, that's hiring people, and everybody needs them now. I don't know what happened to everybody. I mean,
I don't know.
It was like pre-COVID. I mean, it was fantastic. There was waiting lists going on, and then I mean, did people just quit working and stay at home, and that's it? I mean, a bunch of them doing that. That's what it seems like. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think you hit it. Right there is you don't have to drive a truck to make good money right now. I mean, everybody's hiring.
Yeah.
And if you want a job, you can get one right now.
Yeah, and I just, you think about the future of it, boy, it's just going to be hard for it to get better, it seems like, for people to get into trucking. And if they only knew how good it could be, though, I mean, I think you would have a whole bunch of them getting there. I think it's just that gap, that educating people of how good it can be in trucking. But, it's the way it's been forever is the mentality and what people think of truck drivers. A lot of people don't, I get my CDL, but that's my last resort. Well, that's, if they only knew what the possibilities were, if they were a truck driver, they would get after it a lot quicker.
Yeah. And I think the guys that are doing it right now, if they actually knew the consistency they'd have at Oakley Trucking.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys would.
I
mean, they could see it over a year's time. These guys would make more money at Oakley, I think, than what they're doing now. But they have these few big weeks, and man, I'm making all kinds of money.
Yeah.
Well, take 52 weeks of that and
That's
put
right.
it together.
That's right.
And
give me a year at Oakley, and you get a year somewhere else, and I'll beat you every time.
Now, and I wish I could get that out there to all the owner operators doing it.
What are these guys? You get them on the phone. What are they telling you they want? These recruits that we do talk to and are, talking about coming to work here. what's changed, to what do they want now compared to what they used to?
I like to call it the quality of life is what they kind of lean to as far as, excuse me, home time. Dedicated home time, home every day.
Getting a bunch of that.
A big majority of the guys I talk to that's exactly what they're looking for. And we've got some dedicated work here. Now, in some places, and not all over, but we sure have some that works well for people. But I talk to a lot of guys that their first question is, "Well, you have us dedicated. I want home every night." What do you mean? No, I've ran the road, or my dad ran the road. I'm looking to be home every day.
Are you talking to more older people or younger people these days?
I'd say still more older people, in my opinion.
What about what you think, Ken?
I mean, I'm going to say not early 20s, but 30ish to 40 in that.
Well, that's pretty good. I mean, typically it's 50 to 60s.
Right, and that's the ones I think he was talking about earlier. That's the ones that's
Well,
retiring
when
out
you
of
meant
here.
older people, I was thinking 40 in there.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's not old.
That's
Not even. That's not even.
I'm not even going to talk about it.
Golly. Well, it's the reason I ask that is what they are wanting is just to let our listeners know how much it's changed over the years to where, when I was doing day-to-day recruiting, it was miles. Can I get miles? Can I get some miles? I need miles. I mean, that's what it was forever, was needing miles. And now it seems like that's not the.
And I think a lot of them want to know what they're going to be doing every day beforehand. They don't want to call in and, they want to know what they're doing every day before they come to work. Certain areas, certain lanes, hey, that's all I'm going to do. It's when you call in, you get unloaded and you call in, like dispatch gives you a load. They don't want to be surprised anymore, a lot of them. And
I can't blame them.
No.
You kind of want to plan out your day.
Plan it out, plan your week out.
Yeah. What, so, I mean, right now I was going to ask this stupid question that I put down on your sheet there. How many independent contractors do we need right now?
We were just talking about that.
Yeah. It's kind of what I was saying. What kind of question is that?
Well, I mean, you got a number on it or what?
Yeah, I'd sure like to talk to all of them.
Any qualified driver that has a truck?
So you could take 50 right now.
Or more. Yeah, I'd take 50 tomorrow. I'd take 50
The
next week.
Yeah, next week
and
also.
the next week.
I'd like to get things caught back up because it's been, we got the guys that are retiring. We've got the guys with truck issues with no parts that have been down and can't.
Well, that's a whole nother podcast right there. Isn't that a nightmare?
And
it goes along with, and that hits kind of all these guys looking to buy a truck that you talk to. They're hearing that stuff.
Yeah.
And they do not want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Why? They're thinking, why am I going to get a truck? You can't get no parts. Truck prices are high. I mean, that's the stuff we hear on the phone because they talk to owner operator. And that's just stuff I hear from recruits anyway.
oh yeah,
If they only knew, if you just go get you a truck and get over here, things start clicking, man.
Exactly.
You start seeing a whole different side of the trucking world, and you go, man, this is. How many times y'all heard I should have been here?
That's where
years ago.
That's where you got to get them to focus on all the positives instead of the few negatives.
That's right, because there's a lot more positive in it than there is.
there is, but it's easy to focus on that negative, and that's where a lot of guys get hung up.
Yeah, and there is more negatives now than what we're used to, I think. With the truck prices and the truck parts and can't get this, can't get that, type of deal. I think there is, but some of the positives, there's more money now than there's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Ever been.
I mean, the trucks are a little higher, but so is the money. They're making more money than they ever have. I did the podcast before this one and went over settlement summaries, and you wouldn't believe, I mean, some of the the money these people are making, net money, out of that gross, and that goes a long ways. So,
and we're getting these guys home now a lot more often, most weekends, in places that weren't an option 10 years ago. I mean, just
that's a good. Okay, so go into that, Kent. Where, right now, where would be a good place for guys to live and they can get home on the weekends, because you're exactly right. I mean, that's changed over the years.
pretty much everywhere with an end dump. From Texas east, unless you get way up in the far northeast or way down South Florida, the Florida, that's kind of a pivotal spot there. But they work with our guys in.
But anywhere
dispatch.
in between there,
Yes, I would say
home on the weekends.
Alabama,
Absolutely.
most of Georgia, up through the Carolinas, Pennsylvania, and back this way, you get home every weekend.
Yes, you can. That has changed a lot.
Yep.
That's a
Yeah,
good point.
dispatch is making a good effort
Yeah, they have.
They
They've
sure
done
are.
a great job.
to try to do what they can, for sure, to attract more.
And I tell you, hoppers, they can get a guy home pretty much weekends at a lot of places these days too.
Yeah, we're doing some out there in the
Doing some
Carolinas.
in
yeah.
Ohio.
Ohio, yeah.
They've really stretched that out through the southeast.
Yep.
They've sure done a good job there.
Yeah.
So,
Lots of opportunities. You just, I wanted to do this episode with recruiting just so, give people, owner-operators, hear what we're going through, and also recruits that are listening to us, what's going on in the reality of recruiting a truck driver. I mean, that's what it is. It is more challenging than it's ever been for us.
it's a battle every day.
It's challenging for the driver too, for the company driver wanting to go to owner-operator. It's a challenge, in the trucking world today for sure. But it's still a great industry to be into. It's great money to be made. I mean, it's a great company to be with, to do that long term. So I mean, it's as many negatives as there is. I think you said earlier, Dustin. It's still a lot. The positives outweigh the negatives.
The negatives all day long.
If you get with Oakley.
That's correct.
Because you got to get with that any company that fits your needs. And I would encourage everybody to, that's even one, if you're at a current owner operator at Oakley, and you have some issues, or you want to get home more, or hey, we had a guy in here this week that was going to retire, and we tried to get him. He said he wanted to be home more, so he was just going to hang it up. And dispatch started coming up with loads right there around his house. Well, we can get you home all the time. Well, it was a little too late, I think, for that individual. But what I'm trying to tell our owner operators to do, if you're wanting that now, if you're needing that in your life, and man, ask us.
Absolutely.
You never know what we can come up with. In situations. I mean, we've got a lot of freight now that it's just a matter of us putting our heads together, putting you on it and making it happen, and you getting you more home time. We got a lot of guys. I talked to Eddie yesterday, and he's slowing down a little bit. They're that retirement age. We got a lot of guys working into that, and you got to let them slow down, work when they want to.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a lot of that stuff. So anyway, anything else you guys want to add to the recruiting? I see you got a few notes there, and make sure you get it all in.
Well, I think it's important we get it out there to, especially the recruits listening right now. We're very busy on all divisions here, and we're looking for hopper guys, we're looking for end-up guys, pneumatic tanks. I mean, they're very busy. And we, like Kent said, we've got some local work down in Baton Rouge. We're looking for some owner operators for some local, I wouldn't say dedicated, but we've got some local stuff out of St. Louis we're looking for some guys to do. We really need to ramp that up. Wish we had 3 or 4 up there right now.
Yeah.
And we're really needing some guys for that. So we've got a lot of work, and we really need some guys to do it right now.
Like you're talking about a while ago, all the positives for that company driver going to owner-operator. I mean, you do have some red flags there with trucks and parts, but we still know of some excellent dealerships to really help those guys, take that first step and cross that bridge and get in a good truck with warranty and get started over here with us.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. It's always good to hear from the recruiting department. Gives everybody a little insight of what's going on at Oakley Trucking, so in the recruiting department. That's all I got, fellas, unless y'all got something you want to add. Good?
Good.
Good stuff. All right. Well, hey, once again, I appreciate everybody listening to the Oakley Podcast. Be sure and like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Those things do a world of help to spread the word about the Oakley Podcast, and give us some good feedback too. And we appreciate everybody that listens to it. Appreciate all our owner operators out there, and y'all have a good week. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks.